Donald Trump just imploded at the White House after getting publicly humiliated by a group of pro athletes, and the whole thing played out like a live-action meltdown. This wasn't just awkward, it was historic. Trump tried to turn the moment into a flex and ended up becoming a meme. But before the athletes even arrived, Trump was already in freefall, confusing basic facts, slurring through history, and reminding everyone just how far he's fallen mentally. Here's where the implosion started.
Right up there, I don't know, see the Declaration of Independence, and I say, I wonder if the Civil War, it always seemed to me maybe that could have been solved without losing 600,000 plus people.
History will find that there was a president of the United States who did not know that the Declaration of Independence was written and signed 85 years before the Civil War. You look right up there, I don't know, see the Declaration of Independence, and I say, I wonder if the Civil War always seemed to me, maybe that could have been solved without losing 600,000 plus people. That's what he said. So he looks at the Declaration of Independence on the wall, and then he thinks that the Declaration of Independence was the product of the Civil War. We've always known that Donald Trump could not possibly pass a high school AP history course. We've always known that Donald Trump couldn't pass any test in any high school history course. But now we know that he couldn't possibly have passed any history test in my third grade at St. Brendan's Elementary School in Boston, in Dorchester. We knew that order of history, what came first, in the third grade. Declaration of Independence first, Revolutionary War second, Civil War a distant third to those events. There are children in elementary school in America tonight who are laughing at that video that they just saw right now, especially kids on the West Coast where this show is airing early enough for them to see it. The psychiatrists promised us in the first year of the first Trump presidency that there was only one direction that his mental health could go. And every day, Donald Trump proves them right.
That was a full-on body slam from Lawrence O'Donnell, and honestly, it was overdue. Trump didn't just flub a date, he stared at the Declaration of Independence and thought it was from the Civil War. That's not a mix-up, that's a brain glitch in 4K. He's not confused, he's malfunctioning, and thankfully, someone in the mainstream still has the guts to say it, because Trump's mental fog, it's not just comedy fodder anymore. It's shaping real policy. One weekend, he halts ICE raids, probably because a rich pal begged him to. The next, Stephen Miller rises from his crypt and bam, the raids are back. No plan, just chaos, and Pete Hegseth canceled. Trump's now getting war advice from Fox News. Apparently, our foreign policy hinges on Hannity's mood swings. It's not subtle. The decline is right there on camera. Even professional athletes noticed it. Which brings us to that Oval Office train wreck, the moment that made them speak out. Let's hit the clip first, then unpack the aftermath.
That he was never for open borders, and he was never for, if you think, he was never for transgender for everybody, or men playing in women's sports. You know, he was never for that. Have you ever had women? Could a woman make your team, fellas? Tell me. You think? No? You're being nice. What do you think? Think a woman could make the team? General managers, what do you think?
Difficult.
You don't say it.
We have a very good women's team, though.
You do have, right?
Yeah.
But they should be playing with women, right? You know, it's one of those things. One of those things. See, they're very diplomatic.
Trump once again fired up his greatest hits, rambling about transgender athletes like it's 2016 and pretending he's never supported the very policies he used to shout about at rallies. It's classic MAGA gaslighting. Deny, deflect, and toss out some pseudo-macho locker room logic no one asked for. And did you catch that painfully awkward moment with the team managers? Even they looked ready to fake a phone call just to escape. Trump's version of diplomacy is muttering one of those things while hoping no one realizes he's winging it badly. But here's the twist. Some of those athletes went public about Trump.
Athlete sounds off on weird moment with Trump at the White House. A member of the U.S. men's national soccer team said he was caught by surprise by the weird press conference Donald Trump held for him and his Juventus teammates in the Oval Office. The storied Italian soccer club was in Washington, D.C. for the FIFA Club World Cup and made a 15-minute appearance at the White House Wednesday afternoon. But the political journalists in the room were more interested in asking about Iran and other political topics, forcing the players to stand behind awkwardly while Trump discussed missile strikes, travel bans, and women playing in men's sports. Speaking to reporters after the Juventus game, we said the White House visit was a surprise. They told us we would have to go, and I have no choice but to go, the 25-year-old said, according to The Athletic. I was caught by surprise. Honestly, it was a bit weird. When he started talking about the politics with Iran and everything, it's kind of like, I just want to play football, man.
Imagine flying to DC thinking you're getting a quick photo op, and instead you end up trapped in a bizarre Trump monologue about missiles, transgender athletes, and Iran while you're just trying to kick a soccer ball. One player said it best, I just want to play football, man. And honestly, same. The guy went to the White House, not a Fox News audition. It's classic Trump. Hijack the spotlight, ignore the guests, and spiral into political rants no one asked for. The players didn't sign up for this circus. And now the last part of the article takes it even further.
During Wednesday's press conference, Trump took a press pool question about former President Joe Biden's administration and used it as an opportunity to grill the Juventus players on gender politics. After claiming the auto pen was running the Biden White House, Trump said he wasn't making a decision. He was never for open borders, and he was never for transgender for everybody, or men playing in women's sports. Trump then, as we saw in the previous clip, turned around to the players, started grilling them with his transphobic remarks, and they all just tried to move past it. The players then shuffled their feet and crossed their arms while the president answered questions about Iran and went on a tangent about the futility of war, including Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the American Civil War. After the Juventus game, the soccer player told reporters it was his first time visiting the White House. I guess it was a cool experience being in the White House, he said, but I'm not one for politics, so it wasn't that exciting. His fellow U.S. men's national team players also shook Trump's hand during the visit. During Trump's first term, the player had told a German media outlet that he didn't support the president.
So this story is important, not just because Trump embarrassed himself again, but because it shows in real time how far gone he really is. He gets asked a question about Biden, and suddenly the Juventus team is getting a weird TED Talk about the Civil War, transgender athletes, and the futility of war, all while they're trapped behind him like mannequins, just shuffling, arms crossed, waiting for the nightmare to end. And remember, this isn't new. Trump has a pattern of dragging people into the Oval Office just to use them as props. Governor Gretchen Whitmer said it happened to her too. She showed up for a meeting, and suddenly she's being used as background noise while Trump rants to the cameras. She even held up the folder like, yep, I don't want to be here either. And now he's doing it again, this time with an entire football club, ranting about gender, war, and Biden conspiracies while they politely die inside. Isn't this the same political party that screams about keeping politics out of sports? Yet Trump can't stop injecting himself into every single arena with the most toxic takes imaginable. But hey, it's not weird if you've already accepted that Trump is in full cognitive collapse. We've seen it coming for years, which is why it felt like a glass of cold water recently, when a former president took the mic and actually spoke like a coherent adult. Yep, President Obama had something to say, and you'll want to hear it.
We start drifting into something that is not consistent with American democracy. It is consistent with autocracies. It's consistent with Hungary under Orban. It's consistent with places that hold elections but do not otherwise observe what we think of as a fair system in which everybody's voice matters and people have a seat at the table and there are checks and balances and nobody's above the law. And we're not there yet completely, but I think that we are dangerously close to normalizing behavior like that. And we need people both outside government and inside of government saying, let's not let's not go over that over that cliff, because it's hard to recover.
When Obama speaks, it's like someone finally turned the lights back on. He's sounding the alarm, clearly, calmly, but unmistakably. He's warning us that the US is edging towards something far more sinister than just bad politics. He name drops Orban's Hungary for a reason. Elections that look real on paper, but function like autocratic theater. Sound familiar? Trump's entire playbook lives in that gray zone, shouting rigged when he loses, ignoring checks and balances, and acting like the law is a suggestion. Obama's not panicking, but he's not sugarcoating it either. And now he takes it even further.
And part of the reason I think it's interesting, when I was first elected, we were in the middle of a huge global financial crisis. It had started on Wall Street, so understandably other countries were annoyed about it. And the Iraq War obviously was not popular around the world, and so our reputation and our leadership globally had dipped pretty significantly. And so I come in first year, and I'm doing a lot of travel and making a lot of speeches and holding town halls and like this in foreign countries. And one of the raps that I got from the opposition, from the Republican side, was, he's on an apology tour. And basically what they were arguing was that I wasn't just going around bullying other countries and telling them that we're better than you, which I thought was a bad strategy to get them to cooperate to, I don't know, that's human nature, I think. But what they always missed, and what I would always say everywhere I went around the world, was what makes America exceptional is not that it has the biggest military. It's not that it has the largest economy. What really makes America exceptional is that it's the only big country on earth, and maybe the only real superpower in history, that is made up of people from every corner of the globe. And they show up, they come here.
Obama just dropped the kind of perspective you never hear from Trump. Or honestly, most politicians. He's not talking about America being the best because of bombs or money. He's talking about people. The idea that what makes the US truly exceptional isn't dominance, it's diversity. People from every corner of the globe come here, not because we bully the world, but because they believe in the idea of America. And the GOP's old apology tour line, Obama makes it clear, humility isn't weakness, it's how you lead. Now comes the most powerful part of his speech, and it's beautiful.
And the glue that holds us together is this crazy experiment called democracy, and this idea that we can somehow, despite all our differences, we don't look alike, we don't worship God in the same way, we don't like the same foods, and yet, when this experiment works, it gives the world a little bit of hope, because it says it is possible for human beings who are not bound by tribe or race or blood, but are instead bound by an idea, that they can somehow work together and arrive at a common good. That's what made America exceptional. And
Obama ends with something rare in politics, actual inspiration. He reminds us that America isn't just geography or power, it's an idea, a messy, complicated, beautiful experiment where people who look different, pray different, eat different, still choose to live under the same roof and fight for something together. It's not about blood or tribe, it's about believing that a nation built on cooperation, not domination, can still be a beacon. That's the real glue, and when it works, as Obama says, it doesn't just help us, it gives the world a little hope. It's the kind of message we never ever get from Trump, because Trump doesn't believe in that idea. If you want more moments like this, truth, clarity, and a reminder of what leadership actually looks like, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and trust me, the next one, you won't believe what just happened with Trump.